Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 between University of Toronto and University of Western Ontario, both Canadian teams I just now noticed. Playing as the, what do we have? The blue Protoss, we have CKK, aka Ryan Cho, for University of Western Ontario. And playing as the green Terran, we have Jin Hong Cho playing as Crimson, the green Terran, which is a little bit ironic because he's, green and his name is Crimson. That's just kind of a lame little joke right there. My attempt at entertainment during the early game because nothing is going on besides a forward pylon and a supply depot. Is it gonna be a depot? Yes, it is just gonna be a regular old-fashioned depot, so not gonna be any sort of silly cheese. Both players playing a relatively standard early game. CKK deciding to go for standard Sim City for the Protoss, not gonna go for any sort of silly wall-in, especially against the Terran. What's he gonna do? Run up with Reapers? Oh wait, those can hop cliffs! So, standard, good old-fashioned SimCity along with a regular wall-in because Zealot rushes are a pain in the butt. And this SCV, I don't know what he's doing. He is dropping a barracks that's rallied to the front. I don't know why the barracks is hidden down south. Maybe he's just going to try to juke, freak his opponent, CKK, out, so it will scout, see that there is no barracks at the ramp, and then perhaps assume there's going to be some cheese and set CKK on the back foot. I don't know, we'll definitely have to see. We do have a quick gas, so yeah, it looks like Crimson is just going to try to fake his opponent out a little bit, but really all the probe needs to do is just scout a little bit around the inside of the main. Just a little bit of common sense, and there we go. CKK scouts, he sees immediately that there is no racks, he sees the gas, goes and just looks around, scouts around the outside of the base, and he's going to scout to the low ground. He's actually not going to see the barracks, so it does look like CKK was actually successfully fooled. Does not see the barracks at all. Now running around. Oh, he did see the probe coming up from the bottom there, but he's scouting around looking for the barracks now. Probably going to get a little bit concerned. We have a Zealot in production so far. Nothing seems to have deviated from a standard opening for Protoss. We do have a reactor going down, so it looks like we are going to see a lot of Marines in production coming out pretty soon. And this SCV and the probe is just running around the entire map. He's desperate to find that barracks, and another barracks is now going down for Crimson, so it looks like we might actually see some pressure. And there it is, a quick chrono on both the unworking gateway and warp gate on the cyber core. So just relatively standard so far. SimCity going down. CKK still doesn't know where any of his opponent's barracks are, but he hasn't seen any units come yet, so I believe he does feel that he is safe. He is scouting everywhere for that poor thing, that barracks, and it does look like Crimson was going to try to put a bunker maybe, but CKK already on top of it with the probe and the Zealot and Stalker, so already on top of his stuff. Meanwhile, a supply depot wall in. We have a Marine running around just making sure there aren't going to be any hidden pylons or anything. And this probe is just looking everywhere. If we just look at the vision, look at that. All around the map, doesn't see it. Oh, and still a Nexus first from CKK, so it does look like he did get wisen up to his opponent's little tech fake out there. But CKK is getting that quick concussive shell, so there probably will be an early game timing that CKK doesn't know about. And this poor SCV will die to that Stalker. There he goes, a little bit of micro there. Zealot now walking up the ramp. Let's see. I don't see anything. They just see the supply depot wall in. 2 Marines pop out, so if CKK is paying attention, he would know that there would be a reactor. A little bit of micro just to keep those Marines alive. I do like that. That's a nice touch. And Crimson actually holding back with the Marauders, just hiding them a little bit, and now we see the walls drop. So it does look like these Marauders now with concussive shells are going to pick off this Stalker. There they go. Down goes the Stalker. Let's see if we see forward cannon maybe. Is our forge finished? And there actually is no forge. CKK going for the forgeless expand, just going to go off of 3-gate robo to see if he can hold the expansion. We do have a lot of units crossing the map now. Let's see. And some SCVs as well, so it does look like we're going to see some crazy early pressure going down from Crimson, now at 43 supply to his opponent CKK 34, excuse me. And there is 3 Zealots and a Sentry. Chrono now going down on the warp gate. CKK wisened up to the pressure. The bunker does go down, but the supporting Marines and Marauders are there. And this Nexus, it does look like it's going to go down. CKK doesn't really have anything that can engage this. And and now caught a little bit out of position, Crimson. The SCV does look like it's going to go down. The bunker will fall. Meanwhile, the SCVs are distracting the probes, but so many units are just streaming across the map for Crimson. It does look like they are going to clean this up relatively well. Another bunker going down. And this Nexus is just continuing to take fire. More and more units being warped in. Stalkers, Zealot, whatever CKK can afford. 3 Stalkers now against the Marauders. I'm not sure I agree with this. There are tons and tons of Marines for so much high instant DPS, just keeping that army on the high ground away from the Nexus. Crimson really has got himself in a good position now, and the Nexus goes down for CKK, really falling behind, definitely both in supply, about 47 to 34, and in his position on the map, and the bunker gets cancelled. CKK did do what he needed to get done, so now he is Crimson, is dropping an NG Bay just to deny that expansion even longer, and this SCV looks like it will die, which is a bit unfortunate. Just Crimson denying that expansion. He has falled back. He has taken an expansion of his own. He knows he's at a solid advantage, really in a good place right now. Teching up, grabbing a factory. He does have the expansion there. So Crimson really set himself on solid ground with that early fake out into the early pressure. So CKK, knowing he's behind, he's moving out across the map. I don't agree with this. His army cannot take on Crimson's army whatsoever. Look at this, the number of Marines and Marauders against... Oh, that was not actually me farting. That was my phone. I got a conference call. That's interesting. So... 3 Stalkers, a Zealot, and a Sentry. This Sentry is just going to walk up and get obliterated by these Marines and Marauders, sitting up on the high ground. That's excellent positioning from Crimson. He's aware of what his opponent is doing. And Stim is now finished, so these units do look like they will go down. The Marauders stimmed ahead just to slow the units. Look at that. Look at that wonderful micro. Wow, Crimson is just on top of his game. Looks like CKK is now resorting to a good old Twilight Council. I'd be very surprised if we didn't see Storm, just because it has that high risk, high reward against this crazy bio ball that we're seeing from Crimson. And the Nexus is cancelled once again. CKK is forced to stay inside of his base, and Immortal is now going out to deal with those Marauders. We do have an observer scouting around the map. It will see the expansion. Another orbital going down. We take a look at the units tab. 26 workers to 27, so both relatively even on income. However, Crimson does have the expansion. He does have the larger army. Definitely grabbing another Zealot kill, just cleaning up the map presence of his opponent. So Crimson is definitely very happily ahead. I suppose the phrase happily married to his... Oh, I had some witty remark to say there, but I completely forgot what it was. The Marines and Marauders are falling back to the command center. Charge is now in production. I don't quite agree with Charge. I mean, I know Zealots are kind of bulky, especially against the Marine Marauder ball, but you need to have that high AoE potential to deal with that many units, especially... Well, if we just take a look at the Army tab, Resources or Army, there we go, Army. So in terms of Army, Crimson is nearly doubling the mineral count with those Marines and Marauders. Let's see, they do not have combat shields. Probably going to be seeing that very, very soon. We do have the world's most expensive scout running now around the map. Let's see, 1 observer, a forward probe. Does look like CKK is going to try to put on a little bit of pressure now that he's got charge, I suppose. I'm not sure that I agree with this, but we'll definitely see. Forward pylon going down. Yeah, it looks like CKK is going to put on a little bit of pressure once his charge finishes. But this does look like it's going to be spotted by Crimson. Once again, he's already positioning his army in that excellent high ground position in between the 2 bases, the 2 entrances to the natural. And it does look like he is going to get caught out of position a little bit. Charge isn't finished. This is a terrible engage for CKK. Great force fields going down, separating the army, and actually CKK looks like he is going to clean that up relatively well. The Zealots mopping up the Marines pretty quick. The Marauders being healed by the Medivacs. The Immortals do get targeted down by the Marauders, but there are so many Marauders they can just continue to do tons and tons of damage. Micro going down, and CKK does GG and tap out. CKK playing for University of Western Ontario, putting University of Toronto at a 2-0 advantage. Some excellent play from both players. It does look like University of Toronto is very, very well prepared for the set, which is not to say that University of Western Ontario isn't. It's just, oh man, I just dug myself into a hole right there. I'll just go ahead and see you guys in game number 3.